Just checking. Just checking. I'm Vince Aparo, and
I'm Miwa Aparo.
We've been together for 14 years.
I always thought Vince was really cute. He was popular. He was an artist, a musician, and then I did not feel cool. But he was always super nice. We had the connection from going to the boarding school together, so he would take the time to talk to me and not treat me like a nerd, like the nerd that I felt like. So so I already liked him. And then when it shifted for us, it was the falling in love experience for me, like in books.
Yeah.
That felt like my stomach was dropping out of my body. I was actually really shy, so I used to run away. I remember hiding in a closet one time when he came into the room, when like my feelings shifted too. That was a phase, and then I got more comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, for the record, you were a cross country runner too, so you're not your not the typical nerd or whatever. You know, you were in sports, so yeah, we were actually like when we first got married. We actually have a funny story about when we got electrocuted. You remember that?
Yeah.
So we were like her family lives out in they used to live out in the countryside in Washington, and on East Hemi Road, and there's a bunch of cows and like just large fields with like electric fences, and we're going for this walk, and we're like holding hands, and then we jump the fence to this hill that we wanted to go to. And while we were holding hands, Miwa bumped the fence with her butt, and then it was an electric fence. So since I was holding her hand, she shocked me.
And then we made out in the field.
Yeah, and then we made out. Yeah, it was great.
Then we didn't do that again.
No, we didn't. There was a time when Miwa was going to school in Washington. I was at school in Northern California. Just that's how the way the college situation was working at that time, and I think trust issues were there. Like earlier on in our marriage, Miwa was a little bit more. She was more about sobriety, and she found out that I drank, and then that kind of like shook her up a little bit, and I was working at a restaurant, and it's I don't know. It's like the thing to do at the end of a shift is just go out drinking, and I think when she found that out, it was kind of like, oh, that's new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so we had a long distance relationship, first of all, and you didn't like talking on the phone so much, or he would I realized he'd be playing video games, and then I'd be like trying to talk to him, and I don't understand why he's not answering.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, and I'd be like, oh my God, he was playing video games? And then I'd go cry. And he's like, wouldn't even notice I wasn't on the phone anymore. A little bit of that. So I think just like...
Yeah, I think learning how
men.
learning how to talk to a woman in a way that's like...
present.
Yeah, you're present, you're there.
Yeah, and I feel like trust, I think you didn't have a problem, I feel, trusting me, but it took me longer to trust you. Yeah. So, I mean, I think like... trust issues were there, and then just a lack of communication. And then I felt like I had a pretty set idea on how people should be. I was way more rigid at that time, I think. So I felt like I spent a lot of energy trying to like change him and change myself so that we would complete each other. And it wasn't until I realized that you can't really expect to complete someone else or be completed. That's when I kind of finally chilled out. But I felt like I spent a lot of energy like trying to like get him to not drink anymore. And I now drink, but or getting him.
We drink together.
We drink together. Like career paths or just choices that he made too. So and once I stopped, and I also realized that I didn't change him like at all. Like he would always respect me, but he was always himself. And once I kind of chilled out about it, then I could just enjoy who he was. And then I felt like we fought a lot less at that point.
We still fight, but
it's quicker.
Yeah.
I think I perceived him as like a cool guy who was maybe a player, and even though he didn't really show that he was a player, but just based on what he looked like, I was insecure.
I'm not a player.
No, I was insecure about that. Yeah, and then so I guess having a long distance relationship, I think it was, looking back, I was insecure about my own like desirability and like why someone would want to be with me. But there was that part of it. And I'm trying to think of the trust issues. He used to lie a little bit. He used to lie to make me happy. He felt like that was just like not having a fight, to not have a fight. And I was like, oh my God, lying to me.
No, I would omit certain parts of the story just so I could avoid a fight.
But then I think we later realized it created a bigger fight. So like being honest is a little better. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that was a big part of it.
I don't know. I'm kind of like, my personality is sort of more just trying to make sure everyone's okay and trying to please everybody. I mean, I'm not like that as much now, but I think earlier on, especially in my early 20s, it's like it's like if you can appease people, I guess you feel. I felt like I could have more peace, in a sense. So I didn't really have an inclination to change Miwa, because she's great the way she is. So
that was nice. And I could like sense that. So I actually spent a long time asking him over and over again, like, why? Like, why are you trying to change me?
She still asks that question.
I do. I asked this morning. But why are you trying to change me, or why aren't you like berating me for making a mistake or something like that? And it just doesn't seem to be in you, which helped me to trust. Yeah, it helped me learn to trust. So.
But you expected something different.
I did. I think because I was treating him different, so I was expecting the same amount of like criticism or just pushing and changing and just like trying to force yourself into this box of what you should be. And that's what I did with every aspect of my life. So I felt like I needed to be that in a relationship, and him too. But I think being with him and him just accepting me and himself and everybody for who they are, it helped me to like grow a lot too. And just being myself. Yeah.
So it sounds like you were trying to change him, but in the process you did.
I gave you chills. Yeah, it's true. Actually, it's true. Was that intentional?
No,
I know
of course
it wasn't.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like one of the talks that we had. I mean, knowing that I was just not gonna give in on like pursuing something else. So like I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this art thing. So Miwa chose something that was like more like could be like a sustainable job, because she knew that
support a family and stuff.
Yeah, that I would maybe not support our family, but it turned out like I mean, there's a long story behind it, but
share that story.
Before I was like really egregiously pursuing an art career, it was just like, I don't know, just trying to figure out adult stuff like paying bills, and like I'd always overdraw my account, and I wouldn't, plan well. I wouldn't be able to pay rent sometimes, so I'd have to like ask the landlord, like, oh man, could I like help paint your roof or something? And I remember just breaking down, like, I can't handle money, just
I came in and saved
but yeah, Mila came in and saved the day, because she eventually came back, and she came down to Los Angeles. I had to coerce her with my charm, and she moved down, set things straight, and like I think but I think that's about it. But yeah, like trying to struggling in an art career is always it's always hard, but I think you got to be a little delusional in yourself to make it as an artist. and I was that. But yeah.
And it did feel like he was delusional, but like I believed him, but I didn't. So yeah. So I mean, I feel like I probably had enough doubt for the two of us, maybe put it that way. Yeah. But I felt like if, since he said that he wanted to do this and I loved him, then I was like, I believed in him doing what made him happy too. So yeah. So I always tried to believe in what Vince was doing too. Yeah. And like he mentioned, once we had our kid, then I saw him putting what I felt was like the effort it took to make it. And then it kept, like, it was magical. And I mean, I was always very like logical, and I followed the correct Asian path of, good grades, and then get a scholarship, and then get a degree, and get your master's, and get a job, and then it's like, it works because you followed a plan, and you were logical, and you worked hard. But I felt like once he was ready, it was just like this magic, he worked hard, and then he made friends, and then suddenly, like, his first job from a restaurant was Disney. And I was like, what? I thought people like slowly moved up. And then I remember one day we sat down and we talked about like, what's your dream? It's like, I want to make, a Disney feature film. I want to work in animation. And we're like, okay, we're just going to try it. And then he got a job on Spider-Man. And then he got a job, on another great show too. So once it started rolling, it was magical. But it was very hard for me for many years because I didn't realize that kind of like magic existed. I don't know whether it's charisma or just believing in yourself and just being willing to say you're going to do something and then going for it no matter what. Yeah, but it was definitely really, really hard for quite a while. Yeah, and I was the primary breadwinner, and I did not handle that well, I would say, because I wasn't sure if that's what I'd always have to do. I mean, I chose my career because it fit my interests, and I was very excited and passionate about it until it sort of wore me down. So I wouldn't say that I gave up. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I gave up anything. And he supported me through college, with his restaurant work, and then I supported him later on. So I just feel like you're a little more generous with your support. But I also I didn't know if he would ever be able to make money to support the family and without working in a restaurant. Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
So that was, I was like clearly going to, I felt so.
In my experience, I think what really makes a relationship work is, just being honest. Being honest about how you feel about something. And I think Miwa maybe had more of a hesitation early on when I was, going for that creative job, that she didn't understand like how much I needed to do it, and I wasn't honest with her enough to communicate that. So I think honesty is really important in a relationship, and just being able to trust each other and to also have each other's backs when times get tough. I think, that's pretty general. But also just having like being able to be flexible with each other, because life can throw you like curveballs. Like I knew that we were going to try and have a child, but when it happened, I was like, oh, okay. Now I gotta really like, step up to the plate and like get my stuff together, just so that this can happen. We can provide for this like family that we're building.
Okay. I mean, let's see. I think respect is important. I do feel like you always respected me for exactly who I was, and that was I remember like when I moved down to LA, it was like my life was like painted with like a yellow brush. I remember that feeling. And it was just like, I remember sitting in the car with him, our friend Eris, and just like I felt so good. And I think it's because you accepted me for exactly who I was, even though I wasn't doing that yet. So that was big for me, and I think it took me longer to be able to do that. But I guess I mean, cliche, but communication and just being able to be honest and talk with each other about stuff. And I feel like over time we got better at it, and now it's like we'll have like a little quick tussle, and then it'll be over. Yeah. We can talk about it later. We won't get as offended,
right,
or joyful or whatever. Even it's just more tempered. Yeah. Yeah, and I think we like each other and we have fun.
We do like
we love each other. Yeah, we have fun together. I do really respect Vince, and you know, I respect like that you're like super kind-hearted and you're good. You treat people really well, and yeah, he's a good dad. So anyway, I think it helps to like each other and love each other.
Yeah, I think you gotta. I don't know. I think meeting each other halfway. It's like you don't want to squash people's dreams. You don't want to like discount their like what they want from life. But I feel like being able to meet in the middle doesn't mean that you're sacrificing everything. We don't have to, discount like what each other. Like Mio really loves traveling, and I like traveling too. But I'd be fine with staying at home playing video games, just because I can travel somewhere that way. But we're gonna try to plan a trip to Europe, and compromise is just being able to respect like each other's dreams. And,
I felt like it was a little hard. Our first major compromise, I think, was who was going to move where. So I saw it as like I lost. I lost. He refused to move. Yeah, that's how I saw it, to Seattle. And that was the beginning of our relationship.
And now you don't even like Seattle.
I don't like Seattle. It's a good place, but I don't want to live there. So that felt like a compromise. And I felt like I was kind of keeping a point system for a while, a little more. I wasn't trying to, but I did feel like I gave this up. You didn't give up this. So it felt hard. It was necessary, but it felt hard to compromise at first. But now I think we compromise in terms of like. Now I think I'm willing to say what I need, and then I have less of a point system because I don't feel like I'm giving and giving. I'm able to say like, I'm tired by doing the taxes, so I'm gonna sleep in. You wake up every day and make breakfast for the boys, please, like that kind of stuff. So I think it's getting easier because we can directly say what we need, or he can say like, if I'm doing this type of work, I need to not put the boys to bed or whatever. I am actually curious, like, how it is to handle my emotional baggage, because it's like a firecracker.
You put it pretty well. Like, I can only listen as much as I can listen, and then I stop listening. And then.
Is it hard? Or you're like protecting yourself?
No, it's like par for the course. I feel like it's gone on for so long. Okay. I mean, it's not to say that we're not like trying to address it and trying to get better, but it's like I understand the ebbs and flows when you're on your dot and like.
Oh my god! No, it's true. But hey.
But I know when to like kind of not engage. So. Yeah.
We're still working on it.
It's always a process. I think that's the fun in our relationship, that it's always going to be a process. There's always going to be some new thing, like having kids is definitely putting a couple variables in our life. So that's always going to be this kind of like these waves, but I don't know. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we decided to live an adventurous life versus a typical life, and that feels good.
Yeah,
because we can just shoot for whatever we want. We can stop if we don't like it. And
not stress too much.
Not stress too much.
If it's not working.
Yeah. And that's exciting because I think it's, for me, the unhappiness comes when I'm trying to like force something versus like be myself with him, and then just like choose happiness.
Emotional and being the person that has to support.
It's always me.
Well, it's super hard. No.
So realizing that someone's going through some kind of emotional thing, to have to kind of carry that.
I wake up in a sweat in the middle of the night.
Yeah.